All right, with that cold open sip, hello everybody. Welcome to the podcast where the points don't matter. And um, GTA is out. The trailer for GTA 6 is out. My name's Tyler, and here with me is Ryan, and we're gonna be watching the Grand Theft Auto trailer together. But as context clues, what's been really funny is that for almost I'm exploring Twitch right now. I don't know if it's showing on screen. Okay, here it is. I'm showing on my screen to the viewers that almost everything is about GTA. The first number one trending in the U.S. is GTA 6, with Rockstar City Vice City. GTA 5 is number 4. Clyde and Clyde is a name drop for GTA 6. What else is there? Florida Man is apparently a thing, and I thought it was an actual Florida Man. But what did you say Florida Man was in context to everything, Ryan?
If you click on it and scroll down far enough, you'll find that it is in reference to GTA being set in Miami, and apparently, based on one of the screenshots, it looks like was there that it features some form of a Florida Man style character, which should be pretty interesting to see.
Okay, fair enough. And I saw earlier a character like Lucia or whatever trending, and it was regarding the first female protagonist in GTA, which is interesting. Um, what is
Whole lot of GTA stuff popping off today. So
Yeah, and let's see, where was it? I don't know what.
I wonder if Clyde did we confirm or not that Clyde is not also a
I don't know if
reference to one
Clyde's
of the
the
characters?
reference, but it's.
It
I
looks like
said
it.
someone says already like so GTA 6 is doing a Bonnie and Clyde type of thing, and I guess that makes sense to where like it's a theme rather than like a character name, from what I'm reading. So the whole like Lucia
So
and
yeah.
I don't know the male character's name, but the point of the Clyde mention is like, oh, Bonnie and Clyde, thick and thin, a thieving couple. Oh no, GTA live on camera. GTA 5 climbed from number 5 to number 3. I wonder why Jaden is number
We
2.
better get this video out, man.
It's funny. It's fine. uh,
Post that link on X apparently.
yeah, it's on X. But yeah, that's not important. We're gonna be watching. We're gonna live watch the Grand Theft Auto video.
You go back maybe like
Huh?
10 seconds or something. Can you go back maybe like 10 seconds or something? I'm loving the Florida Man activities that I'm seeing in
Someone
this
called the
video.
department have transport on a dump truck.
Yeah, I
But
mean
like this
clearly
looks
some
very much like I don't know, like a Jenner. The what is it? The Gucci like uh in the
just walking into the store.
bodega.
That looks like some form of a cutscene from a like a mission or something to
This
me.
this one right here
Well this too, but also the
was.
wait. No, wait, go back. Was that actually a real video, or was that?
It. I don't think so.
That's
No.
gotta be. It almost looks like it's like a feature within the game, like you can pull out your cell phone and like record people or
Yeah, because
something, which would be that would be awesome.
I think that might be just a thing where like as someone as being some you can I feel like a mechanic might just be you are you have the freedom to just record whatever is possible, and henceforth your I'm afraid of the Bonnie and Clyde situation to be where as Lucia or somebody else you have the ability to be a social media influencer in Miami, and when you go through that social media influencer like moniker in a video game, it may not go well because the last time they tried that with Borderlands 3, it made the story like drop, but in the context of GTA, it makes sense to be social media influencer within Miami and causing shit like this and like mayhem with TikTok or whatever this is.
Look
It
who's
would be
back.
Hmm?
Yeah, it would be incredible if there was a feature in the game where you could pull out your cell phone and film NPCs and then they got like mad at you for filming them.
Yeah,
That would be I would probably buy it just for that, like a simulator where you could go around and like film people and they're all like, "Yo, so why are you filming?"
okay. Yeah, that is a Bonnie. That is the thing. For sake for it's, I'm going to skip through. I will skip. I'm going to mute, and I'm going to skip. I'm going to slow down just so we can get a good idea of what the game's about. Um, but yeah, so far, how do you feel about it being in Miami? Because like that might be the most craziest place possible, and when GTA is pushing the envelope, that is like pretty on the nose.
They have made a game in Miami before, GTA Vice City.
Really? Okay.
So,
Could this
yep.
be a sequel? You
So,
think?
no, not a
No.
sequel. It doesn't look like that to me. It looks like it's its own thing, but it's not a environment that they haven't explored before, although I would say at a much lesser degree. Like this is obviously it's a much more massive game, it looks like, in comparison, and obviously there's a lot more that goes into it. But I think it's gonna work really well. I mean, if this lasts anywhere as long as the last GTA game lasted in
It
terms of
was.
playability,
It's like it's so much. There's a lot of replayability like in like 5 as it is, but for this to like
right?
open up the entire state of Florida to you from the way it's projecting like its
Look at
cutscenes or
that
whatever.
fan boat. The fan boat going through the Everglades, like that scene right there where it's like, oh, you can be on the Everglades, you could be walking along the beach, like right by the city. Like there's a lot of versatility, it
And
looks
in
like.
the harbor where all like the shipments are,
Mm-hmm.
and all the
And I don't
driving
know if you
too.
noticed that, but if you go, it might be a cutscene, but it looked like the shipping containers were actively moving stuff around back there, which is interesting. I wonder
Yeah,
how living the environment is.
yeah, like how active it properly is in context.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is
Like
all
again,
cutscenes
there
they're
look
showing.
if you see that, there's a guy hanging out the car in front of him, filming them from in front, which kind of also adds credibility to the
Yeah,
idea
like
that maybe they're
oh I see
like
it.
filming stuff is a part of the game. That looks cool. I really liked seeing that scene right there.
Hmm.
Just how many people are all there.
It's like it's such like I always forget how big Miami really does feel.
There's one thing we should do. We should probably pause right there for a second with all the cars because that's a thing that um, GTA players are really, really big on is like which cars are going to be in the game.
Hmm.
And so I kind of think I see maybe that orange Dodge Challenger potentially.
Yeah, there's Challenger.
Then next to
There's
it looks like you got a white Ferrari possibly, although I can't really tell because your camera is in front of it. And then
my
behind
camera's
that
in
you've
front
got
of
a
it.
well on my screen it is,
Okay,
yeah.
because like I
You're
I I changed my viewpoint to like zoom out of my
maybe if I
face,
full
so
screen, hold on.
I
There we
full.
go. Yeah, yeah. So you got two Ferraris there, white and red. You've got a blue Porsche behind those. I think three cars in front of that blue Porsche. You have another blue, what could be an Audi R8
Hmm.
potentially.
And like the body proportions of everybody is so extreme, as you would walk down Miami and like Vice City for sure. Like it makes a lot of sense within
Mm.
like everyone from the night part from the nightclubs and everything else makes a lot of sense because I've
Yeah,
seen that
and you see the
happen
homeless
being in
guy.
yeah, I've seen that in Florida too, like the nightclubs and everything because when we went there for um Disneyland, not even when we tried to avoid it, we saw everyone that could be in Vice City in the area, like surrounding the perimeter, like like a it's like almost like a line or whatever. The nightclubs are a huge thing too. And like and this escape's like it's vastly amazing.
Super open and everything. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
rooftop parties apparently.
Mm-hmm. Rooftop parties. Social media is a huge influence in the game. Stay alert, Vice City
Yeah, like look at that.
membership.
That's all being like filmed apparently on
Uh
some
huh.
sort of weird in-game social media. I wonder if you can do that in the game,
The
where
racing.
that chick is on top of the car. No, no, where the chick is twerking on top of the car.
Like they don't do it already. Like jeez.
Like it's not from a cutscene, you know?
Yeah. Like if you're just like out in public and randomly, oh, there's someone twerking. Let's record that. And that's how you like
Right.
to earn money is on in Fat Man running with the speedo. That makes the rainstorms make a lot of sense because I went through that when I was in Disneyland.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety in character within this
Hmm.
trailer.
There's
Like, wow,
there's an extensive amount of variety in character.
this
There's
looks cool too. Like the
Thrill Billy
real
Mud Club,
the Florida redneck scene is in the game, which is pretty interesting.
and then this neighbor with like hatchets with hammers.
I'm not gonna lie, the lighting from that little scene right there makes it look like it could actually be real, unless you
Hmm.
look at it closely.
It cures emotions. Like what kind of commercial is that? But the whole Bonnie and Clyde like relationship between these two right here. And I don't know who that guy could be, but like just like the it just shows it really does feel there's a lot of like sectioned parties within this huge game.
Mm-hmm. Or like maybe you could do specific things even within the story to earn your character money.
Yeah, and even when it like expresses like there might be like a situation where you might be like working with the with the particular gang, but hard to say because like definitely it does make sense to where like this story looks to be focused amongst these two characters. You have Lucio as the female protagonist and the alleged Clyde that is covers her in the back. But yeah, like even the logo reminds me of Vice City, or was there a previous one, previous GTA title that,
Not set in Miami, no. But
but like the style of like the style that it's portraying right now for the logo even just reminds me of
I
another
can't
GTA.
remember. There might have been a DLC of some kind that sort of had a similar vibe, but I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But from what you've seen, how do you feel about the up and coming GTA game that's being advertised by everybody? It's really
My
funny to where
thoughts.
yeah. What are your personal thoughts as someone who loved GTA?
I mean, I wouldn't say I loved it. I don't know that it's like I would put it into the like top games I've ever played, but it's very fun to play. For me, more so the story mode is like a big reason why I would probably purchase it.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's a big community and stuff till this day when it comes to online play or RP and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like
Uh,
the game is so
that's
old. Yeah.
yeah, that's not necessarily as interesting to me as a player, but I've got to absolutely play the story. There's no way I couldn't do that. Rockstar campaigns are always like super detailed, super funny, super fun to play, and fairly rewarding, I think, for your time spent. It's not it probably won't be the kind of thing that you'll buy the game and beat the campaign within 2 3 days if you're playing like a normal person. It'll probably take you a week or two, to maybe 3 weeks if you're playing for no more than like an hour a day or something like
Yeah.
that. So
And if
um,
someone were to
I
get like
think
a week off from it, like the ability to just like the game has it just I don't know if it's been other people's experiences, but I've seen positions to where it constantly gives you like side quests to further live into the world. So for this premise of a game that's going to be released in like less than 2 years, it's it's scary to imagine how long a person will properly live in the game because you have your side missions, you have your proper campaign missions as Bonnie and Clyde, but then equally enough, I can almost project that as a Bonnie and Clyde duo, you have side missions to further like either a choice to help out the community or to try drag racing or to go through clubs. You have all these options you can do in Vice City along with just completing the objective. And like that's like just like it's a huge game.
yeah, it's going to be, and I mean it looks really good too. I think that's another thing to point out is that the lighting, the cinematic lighting within the game looks really cool. It looks like there's a lot of random things that can happen, which I think is always something that makes a game interesting. Is you could drive down the same street twice and see different things,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is something that adds to the playability and longevity that Grand Theft Auto games see within their player base.
Like the fact that it's starting you off with like uh the time you start where you start in the game is years or like months into you getting captured from what it looks like. But then what your the actual gameplay up until that point is how you got infamous, right? Is from what I'm portraying. But the fact that there's like one character that you're probably controlling leads into the idea that just maybe it's a lot darker, and I don't know if it sets up a death to your partner. I don't know if it sets up to a betrayal or if it sets up to you guys separating by some thing going on that happened wrong in the heist. Who can say? Because it starts off with you with like a counselor, like at the penitentiary that she's in, and her being asked like why is she in her predicament, which yeah, that's a way for you to build your infant, and depending on where you the depending on sorry I'm theory crafting because the way this game starts is almost like you're for you're almost predestined to affect how your character ends up after you get released from prison. Where, case in point, there's a game called Persona 5, and the game starts off with you being pulled into an interrogation room and you talking with a prosecutor about how you got there. And depending on your choices as a high school student, within that 8 months, you have to level up your characters, your friends, to a certain point. So by the time you catch up to the present day, you're hitting the ground running for the finale. And I'm under the pretense that, like, based on the similarity with Persona 5, Grand Theft Auto 6 is in a position to where You as Lucia is talking to a counselor, and you're talking through how you got there, but it's gonna then throw you back in time to the first time you and your partner like started thinking about heisting, and then for the next whatever many in-game months, uh, how well you built your empire determines what happens at the end game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's actually something that Rockstar games in the past have done. So I could see it being the case, kind of a choose your own destiny type thing. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think GTA 5 had a couple different. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has different endings that you can trigger. And then I know Red Dead Redemption's really good with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Red Dead Redemption, I've only watched people play it personally, but not having a chance to play the game myself. But from what they've done, there's definitely more than one way to go about things, and the more side quests you do, further makes a further makes a well-rounded ending, if that makes sense. Because like from what it's portraying, how you end up in jail and how you leave jail definitely is determined by your actions prior to being in jail, if that train of thought makes sense. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because like
no, totally.
it's because like it's really cool. It's already trending quite a lot, but already there's I do you think it'll have an effect on the RP uh, fandom that people are doing already? Because like on
Oh yeah,
GTA
for sure.
GTA Online, there's already a thing going on with role playing, and I don't know if there's going to be a GTA 6 uh, online option or something similar to where you can role play with new graphics, new settings, new options within the city of Vice. And would that throw a
So I could see
wrench?
them doing something. I could see them doing something similar to what they did with 5, where they put out the game itself first with just the story mode and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on added the online. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was first available when the game first came out. I think it's something that was added after,
Okay.
and then after that is when other people's own servers started to come out for the RP type stuff. Because the RP type stuff is actually you don't I mean, you do use the game Grand Theft Auto to play it, but it's kind of its own thing in a way. Like they use the Grand Theft Auto environment and world, but they actually add stuff to the game that's not already in the game, which is really interesting.
Okay. So people who are doing RP in the online version have months or like even a year from GTA 6 really settling in for that community. But it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
gonna. It's what people are going to be concerned about is like, is it going to push an agenda? Is what I'm afraid of for GTA 6, because in the recent trends, whenever whenever there's been a female lead, it's depending on the writer either makes it a pretty good plot or a woke minded plot. Case in point, the moment a female director um, wrote the script for Velma, and everyone hated Velma, and then it made a lot of woke jokes about like the IP of within the IP of like Scooby Doo, right? And what I'm worried about is that, is it gonna push an agenda in GTA 6 because it's a female protagonist, or will it be so ironclad that it won't matter because it's GTA 6?
I think if any company was going to be able to do it in a way that doesn't feel like forced upon the player, it's probably GTA, probably Rockstar.
Oh yeah.
I'd imagine. I mean, they've never really been interested in any sort of amount of pandering at all to any crowd really. So I mean, I could legitimately see it You know what I bet it is too is I bet they
Mm-hmm.
like have actually analyzed the data and realized that there's a lot more women playing the game than what they had maybe when say GTA 5 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of the success of GTA 5, especially within things like the RP world, they probably wanted to add it for I mean, I think probably their own reasons, which is the best way and best reason that you can add something is because you truly want to, not because you feel like you have to.
Okay. Do you think there's anything else that GTA has a obstacle ahead of them? Because like there is that obstacle of like, what if it's gonna be woke agenda? What if it's gonna be man hating? Or do you think in the same vein that like in a recent post in a recent article, the one of the producers of Barbie, for example, there's a point where because it was scripted by female lead and female like cast, the way that they wrote men made it like the movie was about male hating, and we from what we saw already, it makes clear sense that like it's not going to be something like that, but there is a narrative to where in this Bonnie and Clyde situation that we're being placed in, it looks like that Bonnie or Lucio is the one leading the relationship. So I don't know if you are aware of like Bonnie and Clyde as like a thing in history, but I was always under the assumption that like the Bonnie and Clyde moniker had Clyde as the lead, with uh Bonnie being like very crazy or very loose cannon. So do you have any? Do you know? Are you afraid of anything when it comes to six coming out that they may have a issue with?
No, I don't think so because they've also done in the past they've done characters of different races, characters of this background, that background. They've always done an interesting job portraying that character, and I don't think that. I mean, it's just not something that Rockstar Studios has ever done. Is like appease any sort of crowd, whether
Hmm.
woke or not.
Is there an example that you can
So
think of?
again, yeah, I don't think it's well. I feel like if you've played their games, you kind of just understand it. Like they're not like if anything, they're gonna make fun of her. If anything, it's gonna be the other side. Like
Make fun of Lucio.
I mean, that's just more the style that they would go for. They'd get like all their characters are very over the top versions of something. So like, for example, in GTA 5, you have Franklin, who's the very over the top gangster character, right? The very stereotypical Los Angeles gangster type. You've got what's his name? The redneck guy, who's the very over the top redneck character that lives in a trailer park. And so, this is not really their style. And
Okay.
I mean, probably to their benefit, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Like I'm just, it's just like it's. I do apologize a bit for the viewers watching because I'm coming from a perspective of not playing the campaigns, not being into the Grand Theft Auto franchise from 1 to 5. So, like, I'm just coming from a place of like, what's the word? Ignorance. But like, I do understand where like, if they'd done Franklin pretty well, then I'm sure that they might have a good handling with Lucia and the Latino like community, because a lot of like the ending parts from the bodega to the rundown uh apart uh sorry hotel, and the car crash was like the most like highlighting of, did that set things off or something else, where like there's a lot of things like during the last bits of the game where it's like asking questions to where, okay, they are they're right off in the like if you look at the timestamp of 1.1 minute and 1 second in the trailer, if you watch it for yourselves, you see them driving off from their first successful heist, but then the next clip shows an accident. So, followed by a character who is being arrested with purple hair. So for some people, it's a matter of like what does this accident have to do with their first heist? And you know, there's a lot of questions for someone who overanalyzes trailers for games that they're really a fan of. But when you play
Certainly.
GTA,
I think all of the trailers definitely from the campaign. I don't think there's anything in the trailer that would be any sort of like online occurring thing
yeah,
or moment.
because like it's not it won't be Vice City if you don't push the sex and like the activities, right? That's from my understanding of people talking about Vice City. It's there's Miami Beach. There's a lot of people uh out there, and I wish I went to Muscle Beach, but I wonder how they're gonna portray that in the game because they've shown a lot about the pleasant.
Muscle Beach is in Grand Theft Auto 5. It is a place you can go in the game.
Oh really?
I think at
Is
least.
that
I mean, it's pretty sure that's where it is.
okay?
I always thought Muscle Beach was in LA. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I was under the impression that that Miami had their own version, so
Oh,
that
they
was
probably do. I bet they
yeah
do. Yeah.
because they
Yeah, I
definitely.
bet I bet all the landmarks and stuff will be there in some way.
Mhm.
You'd think. I mean, not every single building and stuff like that, but if there is like okay, for example, obviously the Everglades aren't like right next door to Miami, but because it's like within the vicinity, they're going to have it in the game in some way.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how they'll style it. They'll add some things that are not nearly as close as they really are in the game. Um, but it'll be in the game by way of being accessible if you actually lived in that area.
Mhm.
But they're not going to have the whole of Florida. It'll be basically just set in Miami with the additions of like the Everglades and um, you know,
And the marsh.
some other stuff.
I wonder if
Right,
there's gonna
right.
be racing
Maybe
with
like
like the fan boats. Just the option
oh,
to
I
race
I
with
bet there's
them.
something.
I want the option
It's
to
definitely a vehicle I guarantee you any vehicle you saw in the trailer you'll be able to operate in the game.
yeah, any vehicle you see in the trailer you can steal and ride. That would be pretty
Yep.
fun. Okay. I think I'm running out of things to say about about not Resident Evil, about Grand Theft Auto 6. Do you have any lasting like opinions about what the game could be like from just the first trailer?
Um no, I'm excited for more stuff to come out and I'm excited to get a chance to play the game. Because I'll definitely do that whenever it drops and maybe we'll have to do a follow-up video at that time and get some opinions on
What do you think the
how it is.
price will be?
Oh, I mean I aren't all games still like 59.99 or did
Oh,
that change?
it changed recently. Like, case in point, now in
Like
recent
big titles?
in recent not even big titles, like recently some AAA uh games or publishers have been starting to push the envelope where even a remake as like Persona 3 Royal, Persona 3 Reloaded is a remake game. That is set at a price of like $70 right now, which is stunning, but not unsurprising because that's catching wind after um, a conversation with Diablo 4 is like saying, hey, uh, subscription might be a little bit higher to where would you pay $100 for add-on content? And like the price of games have been getting increasingly higher lately because I can hopefully imagine the standard version would be 70 at its lowest, but this we're thinking about inflation within the next 2 years to where in less than 2 years we are going to get this game. So will it be reduced to $60 like the recession's going to drop for it, or will it be at 70 like most games starting this quarter are going to be like?
I'd say it just falls under whatever the norm is at the time because there's definitely going to be a deluxe version that you can purchase that's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. It'll give you some in-game items, it'll give you this and that. It might give your character a little boost in like actual in-game money when you first get the game and stuff like that. So they'll do something like that. But I think, if you wanted to just buy the game itself you don't really care about having an extra hat or T-shirt in the game, then yeah, I think it'll just follow the industry norm. That's what they've always done. That's what most of the bigger genres and franchises kind of follow, it seems.
Collector's edition. What do you think the? It's gonna probably come out with a collector's edition, right? What do you think it would be? What do you think a collector's edition of GTA would would be like? GTA.
Well, another thing that they're definitely going to come out with is like branded consoles that have some sort of vinyl on them that represents the game itself. They'll come in a bundle with the game, and you can buy a PlayStation 5, and it'll come with GTA, and the PlayStation 5 casing might look a little different, just to kind of give it its own limited edition type feel. And then if you were to get some sort of collector's edition, I mean, obviously you're going to get the game packaged in a way that isn't normal. You might get some form of like a little trinket or ornament that relates to the game in some form of way.
Yeah,
I
because like I'm looking at
couldn't tell you for sure.
because I'm looking at the previous collector's edition for Grand Theft Auto 5. And in the collector's edition for Grand Theft Auto 5, you got digital content like stunt planes, custom characters, vehicles. But the physical things were steelbook with exclusive artwork, a blueprint map, a hat, and a security deposit bag with logo key. That was their pre-order. Let me see what the price of this was. Um, for this thing in particular. Wait, what am I? Why am I zoomed out? Zoomed in. Let me see what this. As of right now, you can. Huh? I don't know why you can still buy it, but for brand new, apparently, GTA. GTA 5 Collector's Edition for Xbox 360 is $200, and that's from a game from 12 years ago or for 10 years ago. I
Yeah, it's
can't.
probably someone who bought it and is reselling it though, right?
It's branded Rockstar from. It's being sold from Rockstar themselves,
Huh.
which is interesting. So like I'm concerned about is just like the pricing because in the last few games that's been sold, Starfield for example is like a recent game that's been advertised, right? Starfield's collector's edition was how much? $300, according to GameStop. And what about recently Mortal Kombat 1 with the Liu Kang figure collector's edition was what? $250 with the statue and uh, digital commodities. So like the point I'm concerned about is like what would it be and would the price be appropriate for what you're getting for the fans? Because like off from some for some diehard fans, what you're getting from the game does not matter because they love the series that much. But for the common person that wants a nice little thing for the game that they'll only play probably in the next couple for the next few years, like what price point should it be and what do you think it'll have?
I mean, I mean, we've already speculated on what it could have, but price point wise, I mean, it might be something around like $100. I could
100
also see a
bucks?
version being like 120.
I'm concerned that it might be like in the 200s like even because 200 has been the lowest we've seen at the moment as like a baseline for
But that's
collector's
but
edition.
but I think that that's slightly different. I think at the time of like pre-order to get that same exact thing, I don't think it was $200. I think they're just reselling it now because now it's more of just like it actually like a collector's type thing
Yeah.
instead of just like a pre-order perk that you could get.
Okay. I would say my fear right now is just based on the recent like pricing for collector's edition because Starfield was like a very hyped up game with the collector's edition price point at $250, and Mortal Kombat One, the soft reboot of the franchise, was set at $300, and um, people often buy collector's editions because of like, hey, that's mine. I did that. I bought that. That's a celebration of like my enjoyment for the game. But then for the general public, there's a lot less people that might be inclined to buy that. So like I do see that $70, or at that point like $80 might be like steelbook with digital content. So it's just
I
really.
think the thing is though, like if GTA is like your favorite thing ever, like it's literally your favorite thing in the world, you can't wait to get home and play the game every single day, then maybe $250 isn't even that crazy for someone who's really like that, right? If it's your absolute favorite game, you love everything about it, and all that, all the above, $250 for something you're like extremely interested in isn't crazy. I will say
Mhm.
that. And then for anyone that's like, yeah, I mean, I like to play the game, but I don't need a hat or a map, or whatever they're gonna have. And I think it's a very easy excuse to be able to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend $70.
Yeah, because like that's definitely a situation where, like, say that I played the, say I was a part of I was part of like the target audience. To spend $300 makes a lot of sense for someone that's getting older. And for this, GTA 5 came out when I was 20, and that's quite a time to think about. But right when I came out of high school, that was GTA 5 for me. So this will be the game for people who are now 18, who are now 22. So it's a huge discussion for a later time where will the price be appropriate for a collector's edition, or are people better off just buying the base game? It's probably a discussion we can have later. Um, but yeah, I think I poked the bear for as much as I could, and I asked questions as much. I asked the questions that I can think of at the moment. Um, any lasting thoughts from the trailer or anything you want to say before we end the video?
No, I think we covered it. I think that's a pretty good analysis.
Yeah. So go ahead, pre-order your game before it's $300, man. Pre-order that $70 game. Pre-order it. And check and make sure you guys follow Rockstar Gaming, because they're gonna probably do something. I will probably get to it at a later time because that's how I do. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.